If you're anything like me, you are pretty hyped up at this moment. Naruto had gotten 6-path Sage Mode, Sasuke a Rinnegan, and Madara his third eye. We're expecting the final showdown akin to what we got in Boruto. Yes, I know it's a show about ninjas, but at this point, if you're still watching, you already accepted that this was the new normal. But then Zetsu happened. So what if Zetsu hadn't done that? Let's say Sakura slimed him out in the Kamui dimension or something? How would the Madara vs Naruto and Sasuke fight have gone? Actually wait, newsflash, he would have lost. Kinda badly. But just for the hypothetical Sakuga, how would they have looked? Particularly in their giant avatars. We know how Naruto's and Sasuke's looked, but how would three-eyed Madara's perfect Susanoo have looked? Sup folks, Robot here, and today is going to be more of a character design focused one as opposed to power scaling. I want to make a potential design for Rikudo Madara's perfect Susanoo, especially as we never see him actually use it. Now some might point out I should be like his regular one but bigger or something, cause like how Hagoromo's, Sasuke, or even Kakashi's was when they had 6-pass chakra. But A, those three didn't have chakra from all the Biju in addition to the 6-pass chakra, and B, even if I ignore that, that'd just be a boring as fuck answer, so I'm gonna ignore it. So instead, I want to reference Sasuke's Indra Susanoo, cause it just looks badass, and it also fits the criteria of amping a Susanoo with 6-pass chakra, and the chakra of all the tailed beasts. Okay, with our main inspiration down, I want to break down the design process into a number of steps, so I can easily make iterations at different levels without having to repeat the entire design process. I'll start off with the outer armor, then the elemental makeup, and finally the weapons. When I'm done, I'll assess the design to see how it works in color and in black and white, and also if it just looks cool, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Also, I should preface that I'm not a professional character designer or anything like that, so don't expect me to use the right terminologies or methods in this. Starting with the armor design, we see the main distinction between the traditional Susanoo armor and the Biju enhanced version is a change from a set of heavy armor, fully covering the entire form, to light armor which exposes the face and parts of the limbs. With that, I started gathering samurai armor references for inspiration. Starting off, I wanted to differentiate my design from Sasuke's Indra Susanoo, so the way I approached it was by making it asymmetrical, as opposed to Sasuke's symmetrical design. I went with a one-sleeve design on the armor, exposing the left side. Maybe I could incorporate the face of one of the Biju or something, kinda like how Madara had a Hashirama face on his chest, later in the design. Past that, I started building the general shape of the armor by combining the traditionalness, is that even a word? Of the samurai armor from the Predator Killer of Killers movie, and the mecha style build of the silver samurai armor from the Wolverine 2. Say what you want about the movie and the armor, is it comic accurate? Hell no, but I've always thought it looked really cool, and like the armor design, I added a number of overlapping armor plating to the arms and escarcelas. Fun fact, in the process of making this design, I learned the names of many pieces of armor like falds, tassets, and halbergs. Pretty interesting stuff to know. That said, to ensure I didn't stray too far from the general Susanoo armor design, I kept the trousers relatively unchanged. Because the design covered quite a bit more of the upper portion compared to Sasuke's, I made the boots have cutouts to expose the calves and the ankles. Then when moving on to the back, I left it open so the elemental form of the avatar can spill over. Now at this stage, I wasn't feeling the design of the pauldrons, as they were covering up too much of the biceps, especially because I really wanted to show off the plated sleeve, so I changed the orientation to make them cover up more of the traps and the top of the shoulders. I think it looks better now, and it also works in closing up both the armored and exposed sides when leading up to the helmet design. Speaking of the helmet, it had to be one that didn't fully cover up the face like in a regular Susanoo, so I went for a face mask cause that design always works. And for the top of the helmet, I was initially planning on using a dragon style motif, cause Madara spams wood dragons even more than Hashirama, but turns out Sasuke's already does that. So I had to pivot to using another mythical beast. I was looking at using a Killin or some other horned mythological creature, but while drawing, I had a Gretzko playing on my other monitor, and I really got into Washini's design. Okay, not in that way, I'm not a furry. I meant like the secretary bird plumage, because it gives off like a regal aura. So I used it to create a crown for the helmet, and then I molded the general shape of the upper visor to kinda look like a beak. After that it felt a bit plain, so I wanted to add more pizzazz. The horns I was looking at adding previously were a good fit, but if I was gonna add horns to the design, I was gonna try to make it look more menacing. Kinda want to give off a final boss look. That said, I think it looks good, and there's enough exposed body on this to go ham with the elemental body. Like Sasuke's, I wanted the Susanoo body to be made of an element, particularly the one that the user mains. In Sasuke's case, it was obvious that that was lightning style, albeit you probably could say fire because of Amaterasu, but shh. So in Madara's case, I just have to use the element he mains the most. However, ever since he got some of Hashirama's cells, he started abusing a lot of the wood style jutsus. In fact, barring the giant wooden avatars and constructs, I could almost swear he uses more of the regular wood style jutsus on panel than Hashirama. And unlike Sasuke's case where we can clearly tell he uses lightning more than fire, it's not as clear with Madara, because he uses both as his special during fights. So I decided, why not both? I can make a design for a wooden and fire elemental body, and then take which one I think looks better afterwards. Let's start off with the wood version. The main thing I wanted to do with this version was to incorporate the wood dragons into the design. I wanted to have a number of them sprouting out of the back of the avatar in sort of like long flowing hair. Also, I was planning on using a series of twisting and overlapping branches to kind of add texture and detail to the arms and legs to convey how large this avatar is, and generally just to differentiate it from the wood golem and the thousand-arm Buddha statue, but it didn't look right. It kind of looked more like the Michelin Man. I guess Kishimoto's detailing of wooden constructs works better, but I'm just not good enough to do it properly. I know which one I'll tell myself. Anyways, to wrap it up, I added the texturing for the wood, and I had each dragon head hold one Truth Seeker orb in its mouth. This one was more straightforward. I did a Fantastic Four video a while back, and I drew Johnny Storm, so I think I've got the whole flaming corporeal thing down. The real points to iron out were the shape of the flame pouring out the opening on his back, and the positioning of the Truth Seeker orbs. The answer for me was more of the same. I kinda liked the flowing hair aesthetic composed of the elements, so I basically just gave him the heat blast treatment. Also, the flames combined with the Secretary Bird crown kinda give off a phoenix look, which I think really works. And while basic, I had the TSOs just floating in the ring formation at the back. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. With both initial designs done, which one do I think looks better? It's kinda tough to say. The fire version looks more interesting and better conveys the ethereal godlike aura, but the wood version has the dragon heads with the TSOs, which I think just looks raw. In the end, I think the deciding factor is how it will look in color. The flames would just look better as they can act as a light source, making for like more dynamic shots, especially with what I have planned for the final piece. And now, the main thing with the weapons is that I wanted them to almost be Ruby-esque, where they had like multiple configurations and functions. Sasuke's sword, staff, I guess both actually, also function as kind of like a bow for regular lightning arrows and Indra's arrow. So I want a set of weapons that have 3 configurations. In a video gamey kind of way, I want one melee range, a long range one, and then an ultimate attack one. For the melee choice, I just went with an extension of the flames into a pair of short scimitars, similar to the one Madara's Walking Susanoo uses. Also, I should point out that I wanted to continue the theme of the weapons being something that the users already used prior, like Sasuke's using a sword as well as a bow and arrow. For the next 2 aspects, I guess I kinda cheated, because I made use of the TSOs, which are basically like smart matter, so they can reshape into whatever. But to not push it too much, I made them just simple shape transformations. For the range choice, I had Madara stick a fire scimitar into one of the TSOs, and fire it off like he did with the Susanoo sword Biju bombs. As for the ultimate, I just went with the sword of Nunoboko. It kinda just fits the vibe, with Madara emulating the Sage's 6 paths, plus it's also in line with his, and in my opinion the best showing of the perfect Susanoo. Okay, with the base design done, let's explore the hypothetical. Madara opened his third eye and did the infinite Tsukiyomi, and now is ready to take on Naruto and Sasuke for the final battle. They all power up into their giant avatars and rush each other. Sasuke and Madara clash blades, with both going for killing blows. Then Naruto in the QB avatar launches a Biju bomb, and Madara counters with the TSO scimitar. The resulting explosion illuminates the night sky, and then under the full moon, Naruto and Sasuke combine into the majestic attire and go for the final clash with Madara wielding the sword of Nunoboko. Looking at the final results, I personally think it works a lot better in color than it does in black and white. For the black and white, I think I should have played more with the transparency of the Susanoo to highlight the brightness of the flame, but it is what it is at this point. I think I'll personally rate this like an 8.5 for the color version, and like a 7 for the black and white. But what do you guys think? Let me know your ratings in the comments. Also, for those wondering why I used the Boruto version with majestic attire, as opposed to the version from the War Arc, I just thought the Boruto version looked cooler, so I used it instead. Sue me. Anyways, that's all folks. Peace out.